Hello there, I'm Dave Myers, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. Have you ever been surprised, maybe a bit upset, to find out about something you feel you should have been told about earlier? You may have said something like this: "I was completely in the dark about that." In an office environment, a boss might remind his or her employees, "Now, don't keep me in the dark about the project and how the progress is coming along." I don't think anyone likes, quote, "being in the dark," end quote. This concept takes being in the dark to mean unaware and uninformed. Did you know that the Bible tells us that much of the world lives in darkness? In other words, in a state of being unaware and uninformed. While I don't mean this pejoratively, just descriptively, most are ignorant, sitting in the darkness without understanding the truth of God. Are you one of those sitting in the darkness? Today's scripture tells us one of the great reasons why Jesus Christ came to the earth and what would be accomplished by His presence and His teaching. The scripture is Luke 1, verse 79. Where it was explained that, quote, "the day spring from on high," in other words, Jesus Christ, would come, quote, and here's the verse, "to give light to those who sit in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace," end quote. Christ came to a world held captive in darkness, not to ridicule us or belittle us or condemn us, but to give us light. I remember one summer at a youth camp when the evening activity ended quite late, and we stayed to clean up the lodge where the activity had been held. We realized afterward that no one had a flashlight, and we'd have to find our campsite in the dark on this cloudy night with absolutely no light available. We formed a human train, each holding on to the one in front of him, like a camel caravan, and we set out for our tents. While wandering in the dark, we wished we had someone to give us some light to show our way through the darkness. Now, Jesus Christ came to people who are sitting in spiritual darkness, in the shadow of death. He brought light to us so that we might follow Him out of the darkness into light and life. It is interesting that Jesus is called in this section the day spring, in other words, the dawn. And just like the dawn finally brings light so that we can see where we need to go, Jesus Christ's example and teachings bring us light so that we can follow Him out of the darkness, a darkness that would have led to death. So a Christian's goal is to follow the light, follow the life of Jesus Christ, to live as He lived, so that we depart from the darkness and live the way of light and life. So we study the life of Christ, we do our best to follow in His steps. If we make the commitment to fully follow Christ out of the darkness, the rest of the verse applies. He will, quote, "guide our feet into the way of peace," end quote. So if you are sitting in the dark, follow Christ into the light. We have a few articles in the show notes to get you started.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.